Please welcome Mindy Myers.
So I'm 15 years old and living in Queens in New York, in a very lower middle class neighborhood. You know, the schools were okay, a little rough around the edges, but that's what it was. And lunch at this school was, you had a tray and you walked through and they put an apple, a milk, and then a hot lunch on your tray, and you'd pay a quarter. Yeah, that's a long time ago. You'd pay a quarter and they'd give you like 3 cents back on your tray. And inevitably, there were these 3 girls that waited for the kids holding their trays, and they would steal the pennies off of everybody's tray, except I was not into that. So I'm dodging the fingers with my tray and and I did it all the time, and they never took my pennies. And then one day, they waited for me after school, and they were underneath the stairs, and they grabbed me and started to stab me with, do you remember the wraparound skirts with those giant pins? You remember that? Yeah, and so I got stabbed with that and came home with a bloody shirt, and my mother said, yeah, that's it, we're moving. So we moved to the first town outside of the city limits, and it was a very well-to-do town. We were probably the poorest people with the smallest house in the whole town. I went to school with kids that were driven to school by chauffeurs. These kids had like 5 pairs of sneakers. You get the idea. I had 1 pair. So I never really fit in. I felt like the outlier all the time. And but I had to go to school with these kids. And then eventually I discovered this bakery that was a block or 2 from the school, and I started going there instead of going to school.
Oh.
So I know. So I'd go to school until like the last 2 periods, and then sort of wander out and have myself some chocolate marble cake. Yummy. And this went on for quite a long time until the principal caught on and contacted my parents and me, and we all went in, and he said, yeah, we're nearing the end of school, so Mindy can finish the term, but afterwards, she's out. So my parents were very upset, as you can imagine. They valued education, and so they took me to the city, you know, the city. The New York, the city. And so they had me take an aptitude test. So the aptitude test was like 100 questions aligned with professions, and it kind of told you what your aptitude for this or that would be. And I finished the test, and they called my parents and me into the room, and the director said, I'm afraid I have some bad news. I know, so funny. This is out of 100. The highest score Mindy got was an 8 in nursing. Yeah, no. And on the drive home, my father says, well, maybe she can sweep up after people. So they couldn't have me just wandering around, so they put me in a hippie school for my senior year of high school. And it was boys with hair down to here, you know, I had 1 earring. It was like that kind of thing. And there were no classes. It was just a bunch of kids kind of talking or going outside in the back and getting high. You get the idea. And so there was one kid who created a class called Leftist Movements. And we all sang Solidarity Forever with maracas. But the class, there was this program which was called Let's Go to Broadway. And so that interested me, and there was a minibus, and me and 11 other kids got on, and in 3 months we saw 12 plays.
Oh, wow.
I know, it was great, 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 great. And my takeaway from this was, yeah, I could do this, and so I did. So I wrote a musical satire with 12 songs and lyrics. I wrote a score for a 4-piece band. I directed it and choreographed it. It was performed. I was written up in the New York Times. I got like a big, reception for this. And then we took it to other hippie schools in Queens and Nassau County. There was a woman in the audience at one of the performances who owned a children's record company, and she offered me a job to write music and lyrics for 2 record albums for kids in science. And so I'm from New York, and so one of the songs was Dinosaurs, dinosaurs, the biggest animal you ever saw. So to me that rhymed. Yeah. So, but I finally graduated, or didn't graduate, from high school, and it was like, what are we gonna do now? And my father got out the broom, you know what I'm saying? And so I thought that should not stop me. So I wrote an admissions application to Hart College of Music. I wrote my application in song and verse, and they accepted me without a high school diploma. I know. Shortly thereafter, I decided music wasn't my lane. I really liked to write. I got a degree in creative writing thereafter, and I discovered I loved to learn. So I got a master's degree, and then I got a PhD. And the moral of this story is this: you don't really always have to go the regular route. You can go the untraditional route. And you can still get there and beyond the there. And so in my house, I have on the wall my PhD, and right above it is the aptitude test.
Thank you so much. That's such a great, really inspiring story. Our next speaker is going to be an old friend of mine, Magnus.